12:20 a.m. We had a large gathering here in the 3300 block of Dubois Pl, southeast. During the course of the event, there was gunshots rang out. There were multiple shooters. After the shooting occurred, we ended up with 20 victims. At least 11 of the victims are female. One of the victims is a 17-year-old by the name of Christopher Brown. He was taken to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. The second most serious victim is a 1st District police officer with the Metropolitan Police Department. She was shot. She's struggling for her life right now at a local hospital. She was taken here. She was off duty at the time. She was taken to the hospital by police officers who were here on the scene. So in total, we have 20 victims. 2 of the victims are 17 years of age. The rest of the victims are adults. Other than the 17-year-old who lost his life and the police officer who's struggling for her life, the rest of the gunshot wounds, as far as we know, are non-life threatening. Do you all have any questions?
Why would you walk us through what happened here? You saw flyers for a event that
If you walk the scene, there was a large gathering. There was certainly way too many people out here with COVID-19. It was a huge gathering. There was music being played. There's an indication that some food was being served, so it was some kind of a social gathering. And what happened was there was some kind of dispute, and multiple weapons were produced, and multiple shots were fired, and as a result, we have 20 people that have been shot.
And those who came by and witnessed this, they say that police were on scene. Obviously, you have an officer shot. Can you tell us, were police monitoring this, and was it not broken up?
Preliminarily, there were police officers on the scene. I want to confirm that. I want to talk to the management team over here and see if we were doing everything we possibly could, because we can't tolerate these types of gatherings in our city during COVID-19. It's just too dangerous. Nobody can predict that a shooting like this is going to happen at a gathering like this, but we can't have these large gatherings in the city.
And a question for you, the victim's cousin said that a permit was issued for the gathering.
No permit was issued for this event.
The officer who was shot, why was she at this gathering? Was she just...
I don't know yet. We haven't had an opportunity to speak with her.
So she was off duty?
She was off duty.
Any information about her, any more information about her, maybe a name and age that you can provide about her?
We won't give her name, but she's a 1st District police officer. She's got 1 year on the police department.
Chief, do we know what type of weapon was used, or weapons?
It appears to be handguns.
Do you know how many people that you're looking for?
We have, at least 3 shooters, because we have 3 separate locations where gunshots were fired. And from my understanding, that the shots went off simultaneously. So we have 3 different locations. So it's at least 3, but it's probably more.
Any idea for a motive?
No, right at this point, we haven't developed a motive.
Chief, I don't know if you may have like answers, but Mayor, you've been very adamant about people not gathering more than 50 in the district because of COVID-19 safety. How are these events still happening in the city?
Yeah, they're not just happening in Washington, D.C. If you follow the news, it's happening in other jurisdictions as well. And we got to do a better job, in my estimation, of breaking them up when they get to that size.
You had mentioned, though, that there were officers at some point, but were there any confirmed attempts to break up this event?
My understanding, and this is preliminary and subject to change, so take it with a grain of salt, please, is that there were officers here. There were not sufficient officers to be able to move a crowd of that size.
How many, though, when you say crowd of that size, how many people do you estimate were here?
Oh, there were hundreds of people here.
And can you just confirm that you said it was three gunmen? Or was it...
There's at least 3, so it's and the reason the way I'm determining that is because we had simultaneous gunshots from at least 3 different locations. There's probably more than 3 shooters.
Neighbors said that it sounded like automatic weapons were going off in the area. Any sign of that?
We don't have any indication of automatic weapons, but a semi-automatic weapon can sound exactly like an automatic weapon. Semi-automatic weapon, you can fire it simultaneously with several times in a matter of instances.
What do neighbors in this area need to know to feel safe to sleep easy tonight?
Well, this is an isolated instance that happened over here. Like I said, I'm going to take a look at the management team over here and see if they did everything they could to ensure that this gathering didn't get as large as it did. I don't have the details on that yet. This is a very safe community over here. I think the neighbors will tell you that they don't run into a lot of problems over here, so they should rest assured that we won't see something like this again in this community.
And Mayor, seeing the case, so many people out here, and knowing that the cases are spiking, I think you guys have 100 new cases in DC today. What do you have to say to people who may be thinking about having more gatherings?
Well, this is we're here to talk about violation of public safety right now, and what we know is that it's summertime. People have been cooped up. They don't have a lot of other places to go. So in some cases, they're spontaneous gatherings. In other cases, they're cookouts that have happened peacefully for years and years that are spinning out of control. But just what I can see in the aftermath is that we had a lot of people that were in a dangerous situation last night. And sadly, several people who have no regard for human life opened fire at what had been, it looked like, people together enjoying themselves. Now, it is illegal to drink on the street in the District of Columbia. It's illegal to use marijuana on the streets of the District of Columbia. It is against our policies to be in a gathering of more than 50. All of those things are not good. And sadly, when you put illegal guns in the hands of people willing to use them, it means that some person could lose her life, or some people could lose their lives. So it is very important that as a community that we have a zero tolerance for this activity, that we support the Metropolitan Police Department when they're going to have to make very difficult decisions in breaking up these events. Okay, so they're going to have to do that, and the community is going to have to understand that that may mean that some people have to go to jail. All right, so that is when we say that we can't have large events, is to keep the entire community safe.
Mayor Bowser, are you saying then that the city's going to start cracking down more on these?
The city should have already, in the police department, I think you heard from the chief's remarks, it's always the Metropolitan Police Department's job and approach to keep communities safe, and if they see an unsafe situation, they have to act on it.
Another child killed in DC in just such a short period. It's been an active summer for deceased children. We've had the grandfather of Devon McNeil out here. What do you have to say to parents of these children who have lost their lives, and to other parents who just want to make sure that their kids can go out and have fun and make it back home?
I would want to keep my kids close to home, to be honest with you. So if you have a 17-year-old, it's midnight, 1 o'clock. Let's keep our kids close to home.
Chief, I might have missed this. Did you all make an effort to disperse the crowd last night?
It doesn't sound preliminarily like we had enough officers to break it up. But there were officers here, and that's one of the things I'm going to look into as we investigate this matter, is whether or not we could have done a better job of breaking it up.
Chief, this is the second event now in a few weeks. There was another incident in Oxon Run a few weeks ago where there was a similar complaint. There was not enough enforcement to disperse hundreds and hundreds of people. Is the solution to put more police on scene?
That story has not actually been told accurately. For those who know what happened over at Oxon Run Park, there was a gathering over there. We were able to get sufficient police officers over there to break up that group, and that's what we should have done here.
So you mean you all broke that one up?
At Oxon Run, yes, we did.
Can you talk about give us a time frame? Because some folks said this started around 7 or 8 shots were fired. You said
no. I think that's. I can only say the shooting happened around 12:20 a.m. What time the party started, we don't know for sure yet. I know that we have reports that there was nobody out here as late as 9 p.m. So we think sometime between 9 p.m. and midnight the crowd amassed.
Sir, I know you're still investigating, and that's part of what's going to happen, but we're talking about a cookout from 8 to midnight going on in a time period where it's not supposed to be mass gathering. It's not the first cookout that violence has erupted at. I was told Jordan, the young woman who died a few weeks ago, around the time that Dubois Pl was killed, that there was a cookout event there.
There was.
Again, what can we tell families?
Well, I mean, like I said earlier, these large-scale events are not unique to Washington, D.C. You're seeing them spike up all over the region, and we're going to do the best we can to break them up.
Chief, at this point, are you certain that it was people shooting into a crowd, not some sort of exchange of gunfire?
We don't have that level of detail yet. All right, thank you.
Thank you.